what's happening? What's happening? Sports-A-Delicers. I have two of my subscribers here. That's Grub Zero and Greg D. We're going to talk about a barrage of things that's just on my mind that's been taking place going down in sports here lately. Free agency is moving and shaking. I was shocked to see some of the stuff that's going on. But nevertheless, before we do that, um, please, Scrub, tell people about your platform, where they can get at you. And then, Greg, you do the same, please.
I'm Script Zero. I mostly do sports stuff, but I'll do some anime stuff, game stuff, basically whatever I feel like talking about. I did some stuff. I uploaded some videos yesterday about particularly Aaron Rodgers to the Jets. Oh dear goodness! But any case, like my username here, Scrub Zero on YouTube. So make sure you go subscribe. Appreciate Sports-A-Delic having me up here today. And let's go.
Yeah, how you doing? My name is Greg from I Create Sports Talk. I love sports. I talk about it all. Mainly the Commanders, though. That's my team. You can find me on YouTube and Twitter at I Create Sports Talk. Uh, on Facebook, it's just my name, and I have a page on I Create Sports Talk with Greg on Facebook. Sports-A-Delic, I appreciate you inviting me to join you today.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I want to open up with I don't understand some these guys work so hard to get to the NBA level, whatever pinnacle of their sport. They make all of this money. And then here comes the crazy stuff in the club, strip club, no shirt on, waving guns, um, flying around in cars, killing folks. Um, and then Alvin Kamara, I watched the video and I just said, that's something far deeper, than meets the eye, that you can participate in stomping someone out like that and then just leave the scene laughing and joking about it. Um, Ruggs, 156 miles per hour. It just snuffed a lady, out of her life. Um, and then Morant, I don't even know what's ultimately going to happen, with him. I wanted to ask you all first about Ja. You probably talked about it already, but I sometimes have to dig a little deeper. And what is going on is now all of the stuff seemingly that he's, had going on is now coming out. Um, right down to going over to his baby sister's high school volleyball game because she gets into an argument with a chick. You know what I'm saying? I mean, my brother has not ever had to come to the rescue, but I'm not going to call him if I get into it with a chick, But what are you all's thoughts? Like, what is really going on? Because you all are men, and I know that the male ego can be, fragile. Uh, but this seems so out of left field because he had an opportunity to go down as one of the greats, and he still may do that. But what is going on?
Scrub, you want to go first or you want me?
Go ahead.
Uh, as far as Ja is concerned, well, first of all, let me reiterate. I have I never claimed to be perfect. Uh, I done some things in my life that I regret most definitely. Uh, when especially at a younger age, a lot younger.
Right.
Uh, I have kids that's older than Ja, so I had to, as a parent, I was always cool with my kids, but they know what I meant business, right? But I had never had in my young life or my kids' young life, I never had the opportunity to make the money that they're making and still uh, wanted to hang out with. I don't know if it's the wrong crowd. Maybe they is friends, man. You know what I mean? I don't know. Again, I don't know the whole situation with the people he's hanging around with, but he needs to choose a better surrounding because I was always told, show me the 5 people that you are close with, and that's the demeanor that you'll probably be around. I mean, that's the image that they would give you. Being that this young man is 23,
23.
23.
uh, you know, again, I've been to strip clubs, had fun. Everybody, when you go in the club, you know what you know what's in there. You know, if you ever been in there, uh, I ain't never seen one that wild though. Like the pictures were showing.
I know.
I ain't never seen one that wild. That was a little wild. That was a little wild for me, even in my younger days. But I don't know why they put that out. I don't know why the club put the screenshots out there. I think that was disservice to the young man. But the waving of the gun, like I spoke on another platform couple last week or whenever it was, that to me that was idiotic and uncalled for. You don't need a parade. You know, no matter how you carry yourself or whatever, it's cool, carry it. But you don't need to let everybody in the nation know when all eyes is on you because you are a bona fide star in the NBA. You could be the next thing. Okay. He could be the next one. I mean, he could be on the level of LeBron, the Jordan. I mean, he got that skill. And it's disappointing for one because as a black man, we get held to a certain stigma. I mean, we already get a perception against us. We already losers. Females too, black females too. You already have that persona of is she worth it or is he worth it or this and that. And this don't help his cause. So I was very disappointed to see the part about with the waving of the gun and all of that. The strip club thing, that's strip club. Do your thing, man. I don't care. We shouldn't even been able privileged to see that personally. I think they just throwing gasoline on the fire when it comes to us. I really believe that. I mean, look at Harry Weinstein. They made a video documentary out of him, right? But they never showed all the grueling stuff that he did, all the kids and stuff that he took to islands and forcing stuff on them and all that. Never showed that. And that's 10 times as worse. But ultimately, he paid the price, which he should have. He just took his own life. But per se, they say he took his own life or whatever. But as far as Ja's concerned, I feel I'm deeply disappointed in a young man as I would be with my own kids. I would be very disappointed from the gun, showing the gun and all that stuff. But young people, I mean, young men, you're going to gravitate. You're going to do what you're going to do. As far as in the strip club, how much money he got the money to spend, so he spent $50,000 on drinks and girls. That's his money, man. You know what I mean? Do your thing, have fun, but ultimately, that kind of money, he should have that type of stuff in his house with nobody, cameras. Just do you have fun? Don't put yourself out there in the public like that. I feel bad.
Scrub.
It's interesting because there was never anything we heard about John Morant, anything until several weeks ago with when Shannon Sharp got into it with the Memphis Grizzlies.
Right.
Like that's when all this started coming out. And the way it's been coming out, you would have thought he did all this in like a week, 2 weeks time.
Mm-hmm.
which is like, but when you actually look back on it, it's like, this is old stuff they keep bringing up. They brought up stuff that the only issue I've really had, I can say I had with Job was the Instagram live of him waving the gun, because that was just foolish. I don't know who's around him. Were I around him, I would have told him, bro, don't do that. There's nothing good that could come about, because that was a violation of league rules and team rules. So, but he didn't get suspended no 50 games. I think they suspended him 4 games, and he'll be back, because there's just too much money for him that they'd lose out on him not being on the floor. But it's been a lot of drama surrounding him. As far as the strip club, he was in the back room. I don't know. Actually, the timing of that's also interesting, because there's also another piece of news that had come out recently that none of the mainstream's talking about. But I forgot dude's name. Former UFC fighter who's on a podcast the other day. He
Joe
mentioned
Rogan?
no, not Joe Rogan. It wasn't a UFC fighters podcast, but it was a UFC fighter that had mentioned this. That I forgot the dude's name, but he and LeBron have the same drug supplier for like PEDs, and that had been making its rounds on YouTube and whatnot, but none of the mainstream media has talked about that. And then shortly after this, the strip club photos and whatnot came out. I was like, why would you? All right, I get LeBron not going to talk about it, but why is this strip club photos getting leaked out when this is stuff in the back room, which is an invasion of privacy at that point? But so, like, I see what it is. They're going to make Ja look a certain way, so they have their villain. Because the NBA is all about, the NBA's been heroes and villains. We've seen it since like the 90s, and it's kind of just continues at that point. Now they want John Morant to be the next villain. That's their business, but it's like they're going to take every opportunity to make this guy look bad, when there's been, like I said, outside of the Instagram live, there's nothing. He's gotten in no trouble. Nothing legal. He's in no legal trouble. No charges. Nothing like that. So,
Well, I've been in and around law enforcement, and I know, Greg, you're gonna 1,000% understand this. The last thing in the world that you ever need or want is a bunch of guns up in any club. And with alcohol, a lot of people don't understand this. A security guard isn't authorized to so much as put their hands on you. They're not. That's why a uniformed, sworn-in officer has to be there. The police officer isn't allowed really to be in that club unless something's happening. I know a guy that here in Atlanta, he got like a $200,000 judgment against a club because the security guard just kind of picked him up and threw him out on the ground, and he ended up fracturing his hip. And because you're taught, you can guide them, like, hey, I need you to walk this way, but you're never really supposed to make contact. The average person don't know that. That's why there's a uniform officer there, because they are authorized to lay hands if necessary. Okay. And I'm saying all that to say this. It's so easy for something to happen when guns and alcohol get in the same place.
They just don't mix.
They just don't. I've seen nothing positive come out of those scenarios. That's the first thing that hit me. The other thing is, it's true. The frontal lobe, your cortex, all of this stuff isn't fully developed. But what is developed is right from wrong. You know right from wrong. But I think it doesn't mean as much to these guys unless everybody gets to see it.
Social media.
Like it's like, yeah, everything is look at me. Like it's not enough that when he plays in the basketball game, the world that tunes in, those millions of people that watch Memphis, that's not enough. It's not enough. And I always look on the other side, Scrub. He does have a lot of things out there. And just because you're not charged, we know from court, just because you're not found guilty doesn't mean that you're not, right? You got to prove it. And some of these little skirmishes, that he's had kind of got swept under the rug, probably because of who he is. And now it kind of comes back, to the forefront. And then his father, I don't think you can tell these kids what to do when they're footing the bill for you. His father is living vicariously through his son. They out there in the strip clubs popping bottles and like, where is the guidance? Like, son, no. Now, here's the other thing that I think some people were paid off because no one can answer where did the gun come from? Because if he brought it with him, we know that that's supposed to be, your season is over, right? Because you done smuggled it all the way, like, and then if one of your homeboys brought it, like, why do we have to be armed? And I mean, I get that that's why you hire security. That's why you hire security. You remember back in the day when Shaquille O'Neal didn't have security, but after the guy came out of the stands and stabbed the tennis player. Do you remember that?
I remember that incident.
Scrub, you might have been younger, but a fan stabbed the tennis player, during a match, right?
Wow.
But Shaq said, you know what? I think at that time he had 3 small children, and he thought about what's going to happen. I can't protect my family from somebody wild like this. I can't just be out with my kids and try to protect them, protect myself. And so I need to invest in, my security team. Like, they don't want to do that. They want their homeboys around who are vicariously living through your life. You're picking up all the tab to prove. And then if you really find out, they've done nothing significant for them. It's just, okay, we grew up in the hood together and your mom loaned my mom an egg and we loaned you all some sugar. So that's real love. So now I owe you. But they haven't really did anything significant for you to just have these tag-alongs. And it's just, my opinion, which moves me into Alvin Kamara. I mean, and it looks all bad for him because they've now leaked. I don't know if you're aware.
I seen the video.
The limo. What went on in the limo?
I actually just watched that.
Are you aware of that, Scrub?
I wasn't even aware of that. I just found it out now.
Yeah. So no matter what he says, it's bad enough that you're on the video,
right?
But the limo scene lets you know, I'm not sorry. I don't. Even one of his homeboys was like, "Look, man, like you can't be doing that." But it's too late, for all of that.
Well, he's done. I believe he's gonna be done.
He's going to jail,
for sure,
and he should go to jail
for sure.
Because who are you to tell me I can't get on the elevator? And then once you make contact, well, he's a man too. Yes, most men are gonna slap your hand down. And then they just went fisticuffs on the guy and messed up his eye socket. He's had to have, shoulder surgery. He's lucky you don't have some kind of permanent, whatever.
Right. He gonna get paid.
Yeah, but Scrub, what they released the and here we go again. Who is putting out this information that happened in the limo? You know what I'm saying?
Like, and somehow TMZ always getting their hands on it. Somehow, some way.
I'm gonna tell you who leaks it. Your friends.
People just hustle to get that type stuff.
Your friends. Your friends.
Because they got it on their phone. And
Yeah,
they sell it.
Yeah, your friends, because you're gonna give me $15,000 for this video, and you're gonna protect the fact where you got it from. I'm taking my $15K. He got it. He'll be all right, because I'm secretly jealous and envious of you anyway.
Correct.
So I'm gonna make my come up. But in the video, Scrub, the chicks, Kimura, and Kimura's like, oh, I connected with his jaw so effing hard.
Yeah.
I laid him out. And the girls was like, yeah, I seen you do that. Like they laughing and just chopping it up like it was legal. But then you stand in court. See, this is where I don't respect him. Go to court. Tell your attorney, I'm guilty. I did this. I'm going to pay this man a settlement because I messed up. I'm trying to salvage my career. But when you're on video like that, and then you got this limo stuff, then you're going to stand there before the judge and everyone and say, I'm not guilty. See, now I can't even respect you.
All right.
What are y'all's thoughts about that?
That's the whole nutshell. You put it right. You just soften the blanket up. That means perfect, right? Because for one, you've been in the league long enough. You done made pretty good salary.
Mm-hmm.
You're definitely a grown man. The frontal lobe is already formed. If we got to use that for an example, the right and wrong of it, you know better.
Right.
Okay? So, for you to walk into the court, you talk all that on the camera for your rep or for your friends so y'all can giggle and get laughs about, right? But then when it's time to go face the music, oh, I'm not guilty. Where did they do that at? That's one of the reasons I couldn't be. Like I said, I did 25 years in law enforcement. And I couldn't imagine knowing that they got it on camera. I just can't fathom that. Like knowing you're on camera, everything is recorded nowadays. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
Audio. You got audio and video now.
Right.
Everything. Even in Ubers, they got, when you get in the Uber now, they got cameras in there. So anything you say, anything, and TMZ is on a hunt for, like, especially with stars. Oh, yeah. Tomorrow I got arrested for this. I'm going to Nevada and find out what happened.
And if it's TMZ, it's true because the guy that runs that is an attorney. He ain't gonna. If they put it out there, it happened.
He ain't gonna jeopardize his career behind sending false narrative.
Right.
I think Alvin Kamara should go to jail. And I guarantee you when he get in there, somebody just like us seen it, right? They see it. They got, inmates got TV. They got
cell phones. Let's just be real.
They got everything.
Some of them have YouTube pages, and it's crazy.
Everything. But Facebook page, everything. Right. You know what? And I'm a person that I believe karma will happen.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna pay the price. Karma comes around twice against you. That's why I try to treat everybody with the same respect that I would want to be treated, period, regardless of the situation. There's no way I'm going to stand up in that courtroom or defend somebody that's up in the courtroom. And I'm going to look at it as a lawyer. Now, this is my rep. Lawyers, all they got is that rep. I know it's good money. I'm going to represent you. But the integrity of it for me, I'm going to have to tell you straight up, I'm not going to cut no corners with you. Bro, they got you. You just making it work. You delaying the process because you're going to get this time. So if it's something that we can do to settle this man he's been several surgeries, they say. Eye socket is cracked.
Permanent damage to his eye.
Permanent that dog. The NFL can't make you. The NFL can't pay you enough money to take care of that. Now, from a damage report, and then you can go in there and say not guilty.
Did you see how he was dressed for court?
Oh,
nah. What do you have on? He don't tell me he was just in his regular street clothes. Like this is every day.
When I seen him, he had a blazer on and something, but I didn't see it initially. I didn't see the initial one.
Initially, it was like some jeans, sneakers, and a sweatshirt.
When he came back, whenever he came back in there, though.
Oh,
yeah, because somebody must have said.
Somebody said, "Bro, you
come on,
come in."
I'm sorry.
Because
I know it's not funny, but
the co-defendants, they came in out the gate dressed to the nines,
right.
You know, being respectful. Because judges, and I've been in a lot of superior court, like they pay attention to all that. Like I dare you come in my courtroom like this.
Because you go come if you come in there that's disrespectful to the judge.
Mm-hmm.
See, the thing is, the reason why attorneys bring clothes to the inmates and have them dress a certain way because they don't want you to look a certain way towards the appear in front of the court.
Well, when you look like an animal on the video, they want to try to humanize you at that point.
100%. Exactly. So, as far as his NFL career, I believe is completely over. It's no getting out of.
I'm going out on a limb, and you guys tell me if you agree. I think when you get to this point that you can look at yourself on video, know that you did these things, and then go in there with the whole not guilty, you no longer deserve to be in that fraternity. The NFL.
I'm 100%. Just
you agree with that, Zero?
Yeah. Because I mean, like it's you know what you did. You had there's already the elevator camera. There's that video. So we saw like it's bad enough. But you knew how you reacted afterward, and I don't know who his lawyer is. I don't know the whole situation. If the lawyer knew about the limo video too,
of course,
he still said not guilty.
No, see the thing
and if he
is,
did, then dang, Alvin Kamara, oh man, it's not good.
My thing is, if he looked at only thing that I can even fathom, the reason why the lawyer didn't talk him into pleading or guilty or whatever, it got to be money. He must have said, "Man, listen, write your own check, get me off."
Well, no. At the end of the day, when it's all said and done, you get to decide which direction you want to take it.
Oh, 100%.
I'm sure the attorney said, look, you can try to take it to trial because, we know there's always that one juror that for whatever reason will be like, I just don't think he's guilty,
Yeah.
And so they hold out hope for that, Yeah. But I think legally, I think they have to advise you. Now, look.
They have to.
Now, look, this is bad. Yeah. So what you want to do? We can just throw it out there and see, what happens. Or maybe, hey, I'm gonna fight for it anyway, knowing what the outcome. But he doesn't understand. That's where he could have salvaged, I think, his career. That's where he could have probably ended up working everything out in a way where you end up with just probation, because it's disrespectful to have did that to the man, and then now you want to say you're not guilty of it.
All right.
And the thing about it, even when the thing that he got going against him, even when he was at Alabama and got kicked off the team, but it was petty, like driving suspended, that type of stuff, right? The problem where he could have probably resurrected his career is not taking the man through a trial to prove that you're not guilty of something that you're guilty of. If that makes sense. What I mean is, you could have just saved face, like, listen, hey man, work it out with him, because I know I got a battle when I go back to New Orleans and deal with my coaches and the NFL. I gotta go see Roger. I gotta go see all these people. Maybe by doing this good deed, admitting my mistake, I was blame alcohol, whatever you want to blame. You was at a Pro Bowl event for your job. You got recognized as one of the best players in the league this year, that particular year, and this is how you go out. So,
well, no, just a correction too. I think Kamara was at Tennessee. When he at Tennessee? When Kamara didn't? I think he transferred from Tennessee.
Transfer?
Mm-hmm.
He had 2 transfer, if I remember.
Yeah, because he ended up at some community college or something.
But he went to Alabama. He initially went to Alabama. He was
right.
He was initially.
Right. Initially, he was at Alabama. I'm fuzzy on the details.
Then he got in trouble. Then he went somewhere else. I don't know where he went after that. But initially,
yeah.
No, I think it's University of Tennessee. I really do. I don't know why that's ringing in my head. Facts check that, Scrub, but I think it was Tennessee.
I got you right now.
But, this is what's going to happen, Greg. The man is going to limp into court with his eye messed up. He's going to talk about how he don't have full range of motion anymore in his shoulder. That's what you want. Like that's what you want coming in the courtroom.
It just it's not smart business.
Yeah, he started at the University of Alabama. Then after he messed up over there, he was at Hutchinson Community College and then the University of Tennessee.
Yeah, I knew Tennessee was laying around in there somewhere. So there was something that was brewing with this guy anyway. So look at the blessing. In spite of, you end up still making good money, and then you don't want some cash in an elevator. You don't own none of it. Like, come on already.
To me, it's far as Kamara, it was completely 100% his fault. He deserves to get punished for it. Whatever that punishment, whatever that judge sees fit, he should get it.
Now, here's what I wanted to ask you guys, because now I am pro-Black. Yes, I am. But I do get disinterested when, as Black people, try to make everything be about, race.
Correct.
Everything is not, race. And I think it diminishes and devalues situations that are about race, because we bombard everything. Oh, it's because he was Black. And then talk about how this doesn't happen with the white guys in the league. Have you noticed? Let's go back to the kid in Seattle that beat the crap out of his girlfriend.
Chad Wheeler?
Yeah. What did he immediately do? Apologize. I was wrong. I did this. I got to get my mental health. I'm stepping away from football. You can't. What can you do when somebody go back to President Obama when they tried to assassinate his kid? You smoke weed in college. He's like, I did smoke weed in college. I think probably 80% of Americans smoke weed in college. And okay, nothing else was said about it.
Nothing.
You know, because
Because he put it out. He left the narrative like, what else you got? Yeah, I did that. Okay, what else?
But
So
usually the white guys, they just be like, "I'm sorry, I messed up, and I need help, and I'm out of here."
just I was going to say this a while ago, like when Ray Rice smacked his wife, or his girlfriend at the time, or knocked her
Punched,
out.
yeah.
Yeah, punched her, knocked her out, right? But before the video, he admitted it. Before anybody seen it, right? And initially, if you remember, he went to Goodell and them, and they only gave him 2 game suspension
Mm-hmm.
and a fine and this and that. The video came out and amped it up. He didn't lie about it.
He told
But
them
then
everything that happened that night.
he told everything that happened, and he got then they said, "Nah, you gone forever," basically.
They cut him, and then they tried to suspend him again. He took that to court. He ultimately won, but they said they ain't letting him play another down for any team.
I don't have to hire you no more.
I don't know, guys. Now, I can't, because of other people involved, and I'll be glad to share with you all what I know for a fact about that. Because at the time I was working very close with, with the organization. I was around them a lot. Let me just say it that way.
Okay.
And no, he didn't exactly. He gave a milder version of what
he
didn't say I knocked her out cold and I was trying to push her in the elevator and get on, but the guy came down and seen me. Like, no, he said that he just said that they got physical.
Oh, okay.
He omitted the details.
Yeah, he said that it got physical. She hit me, and I kind of grabbed her. Blah blah blah. But see, Roethlisberger, everybody was upset about Roethlisberger. What did Roethlisberger's team do? They got the video because the victim was like, the bodyguard wouldn't let me out of the bathroom, and there's cameras and they got the video. But when they went back to get the video, the owner was like, "We don't have the video." So it was still kind of her word against all of them, blah blah blah. But I believe if they'd have got the video, we would have seen something different. Now I can understand you saying not guilty. I can understand Michael Irvin when it's a video, it's no audio, your word against mine type thing, But when it's audio and flagrant and Ray Charles can see it, God rest his soul, you need to just go ahead and
admit it.
Yeah. But what is
because
it?
When you said a while ago, with you, I'm with you with as far as the black, black start throwing the race card out, blah blah, all of this. When Black Lives Matter, I'm pro black. Listen to me, I'm 100% pro black. I love my people. But when Black Lives Matter came out, I'm just wondering, does Black Lives Matter to black people?
Well, see, that's where I try to. Black Lives Matter was about police brutality. It was about that piece that our lives matter, not that. But see, that's what happens. People that don't want us to focus on the real issue, they start changing, the narrative. And I was one that's very upset with black people saying it's not about the black on black crime. We're not talking about that. What we're talking about is like the young man that gets shot at 90 times. 90 times. By the grace of God, he's alive. And his white wife called and said that he was on his way to shoot up the police department, and they believed her. That's what we're talking about. Black Lives Matter.
Right.
And then turn around later and say she was just hurting, and I made the whole thing up. Now he has a permanent limp. by the grace of God, this man is alive. That's what we mean when we say the Black lives, matter.
But what I'm saying is though, but when that was actually jumping off like real heavy,
Yes.
from the perspective of when I say Black Lives Matter, does it really matter to Black people? I'm saying it from a perspective. If we can march hard, uh, stand up for the rights when somebody from a different color does something to us, why can't we look at that same lens and come to come to
A logical understanding.
logical understanding that you know our lives not only matter when it's against police brutality, it should matter every day when we walk around. Uh, when this discussion come up with anything else. You know, I just
There's no answer, Scrub.
it's tough. Yeah, it is no answer to it, but it's just
I also look at it like, okay, like we just where's the mentality? Like, where you always like we say, all right, we should know right or wrong, but are we on the same page with that? Because I think everyone up here is on the same page of right and wrong. But like with Ava Kamara, does he really think he was wrong?
you can't think.
After the limo scene, what you need to take time out to make sure you see that, Scrub.
Mm-hmm.
After that, my answer is absolutely he does not.
and therein lies the issue. Yeah. At least how I see him, like he doesn't think he's wrong, so he's doing this. He's going to get himself locked up. I wish it didn't get to this point, but he did what he did, and here we are. But it's like, like how people are brought up, like not everyone sees. Everyone's different. Everyone has a different perspective. Everyone sees things a different way. And it's just unfortunate when you see a situation like this. Is like, what made where when you were developing did you think, or was it what made you decide this was the right thing to do? That this was something that was going to benefit. Were you only thinking short term? Like, yeah, I'm on top of the world, and then you just ignore the long term, or did you think I'm Alvin Kamara? It ain't nothing gonna happen to me. Like,
well, look at his path. I think because of his path, and he still made it. It sent him the wrong message. That I can kind of get away, with some things. And then when it comes to right versus wrong, you need to understand by law what is wrong. You can walk through your life if you want to and straddle the fence, but when it gets to the legalities, you better understand by law this is wrong.
And I think there's another issue. A lot of people don't understand the legal side of such things. They don't understand that.
But they understand when it happens to them.
But is that before or after?
No. I'm saying through their life.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the same people that understand wrong if they're on the other end of it.
Mm.
Correct.
So they do know. They just don't. He's been irresponsible along his journey. Something happened at Alabama. I'll be doggone, something happens at the community college. Then, Tennessee, and never does he sit down with himself. Because like you said, we're not talking about a 23-year-old, at this point. Like he's had enough experiences. But no, they don't think that it's wrong to you, just to answer the question. Because psychologically they're irresponsible. They're immature. Self accountability, self awareness, they lack. But it goes deeper than that, in my opinion. I think that there's a lot of stages of development that are missed because they come out of some of these communities. Not true for all,
Right.
but when you grow up dirt poor, I mean, you look at the young man that came out of Alabama, Lacey. He's not in the league because he said he couldn't handle. He didn't like the fact that everybody always had something to say about his play, you know. But I think if he'd have gotten help with the trauma associated with the displacement for Hurricane Katrina, you know, I think he may have still been in the league. And he's like, look, we have a home now. We don't ever have to worry about not having a home, and that's it. That's all I care about. But it's something fundamentally wrong with even that, because this is what you love to do. But psychologically, something happened to this young man. And I just think that if you can make a quick buck off of him, don't nobody care. Don't nobody care. Even the parents. Nobody knows better than the parent when their child has issues.
But they shouldn't.
They should. You see, they should, because
I mean, people go through. I mean, especially in the communities. I mean, I grew up in certain communities. I never had a silver spoon in my mouth, and thank God every day I had my parents and my grandparents to tell me what's right, what's wrong. I had a guidance. And then when I was old enough to make my own choices, then I just knew better. I just don't understand how can you go through life. You made it. You literally made it where you had a chance or have a chance. Generational
wealth.
Generational wealth. Mm-hmm. I mean, your great grandkids could benefit if you make the right investments for the rest of their life. You have that opportunity. Some of us clam to that. I just wish I had the talent to go dunk a basketball or be 6'5" and running. I mean, whatever. I just wish.
Right.
Unfortunately, God didn't bless me in that way. He just told me I had to take another path. Right. But when you have that opportunity, and in this case, over and over, because he made several mistakes that could have disrupted his whole track. I mean, it could have been a hit for him. And then you do something wrong. Hitting a man for pushing your arm to get off the elevator when you know you're wrong. What, he can't get on the elevator? Who are you? Is this your hotel? Is this whatever this is? Is this yours?
Right.
You tell me psychologically, because you think your stuff don't stink because you feel like you arrived, or somebody's supposed to say, "Excuse me, go ahead, sir. I'm gonna let y'all go. I'm gonna let this entourage go, and I'm gonna wait. And I'm sitting at the elevator waiting to go on before you."
Right.
Really? Really? No.
You don't deserve. You don't deserve. You don't deserve.
You don't deserve the fruits of them labors, man.
No, it's just.
And it's sad. His kids is gonna pay for that. His kids is gonna have to worry about that because one, if he gets locked up, guess what? Daddy's gone. That big $3 million house you got, somebody gonna come collecting taxes on that thing.
Mm-hmm.
then your family is going to be displaced because of a stupid, idiotic. Because I had to be, or I'm this guy. Do you know who I am, bro? I don't understand that thinking.
But
And maybe even when I never had it like that, so I never would have thought like that, to be personal.
Well, let's not forget that money just magnifies who you are.
It don't change who you are, just make you more what you are, and it magnifies a lot. It shows that there's a fundamental issue with him, and as far as decision making, that unfortunately wasn't rectified early on. It was allowed to, for whatever reason, it was allowed to continue to not. I'm not saying no one tried to, but it wasn't rectified. It continued on till it got to this point, and we're here to where we stand today talking about this, and it would be bad enough if it just affected him, but it doesn't just affect him. It affects people he knows. It affects his family, his kids. Not only you talk about getting displaced, but now they have to go through the stigma of daddy is a criminal, which let's be honest, like you got that now, and you know, and kids are can be cruel. They
can.
Well, let's not forget there's a Kansas City player involved also, who.
Yep.
And you didn't make the money. You don't got the money that this guy has, and you know you're done.
Yep.
And I'm saying
you just in there by the skin of your teeth anyway.
Right. That part, and that's why I wanted to kind of dedicate this, segment to, these things, because I get so tired of. Okay, like with the Michael Irving piece. Let's talk about that for a minute. I think the issue that he has is we don't have audio. This is one case where, audio might be your best friend, because there's exchange. And then as a
video?
No, not yet.
They never even gave him the chance to even rebut that.
Well, what are you going to rebut? I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Right.
What are you going to rebut? You admitted that first you say you didn't talk but 30 seconds. Then now you've said. See, here's what I know to be true, and this just goes back to even just having kids with serious charges on my caseload. I tell them you all talk too much because you already told 12 stories. So we know that you're lying. The only thing that doesn't change is the truth. That's the only thing lies is what always keeps changing. And Irving said several different things. Then he bails all the way out. It's like, well, I had a few drinks. Yeah, right. Like I think he was just doing too much talking because it's not about the video. The video is going to show that there's an exchange. But an attorney is going to say, well, that was a nervous laugh. Because, see, as women, we are trained and taught certain things, and some people are uncomfortable and they do have a nervous laugh, which may give you the appearance that it was all good, but I'm just trying to get myself out of the situation. We're taught, don't fight a guy that's trying to rape us. Just go ahead and be raped because you still may live. He may not kill you, And you're saying as the woman, there's a part of me that's gonna always be dead. I was raped. So, but we're taught some crazy things as chicks. And then what is the age of this young lady? Because she may have been, it might have been a nervous laugh because he might have shot a game, like, hey, what's up? You want some of this or whatever, it could have happened, but okay, we'll see the video. But unfortunately, she's saying that you said something inappropriate. And just because we don't see her smack him or shoot her elbow or go running off crying doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, as far as the NFL network and ESPN and all of them to collaborate and say, you got to go, you got to get out of my hotel. I mean, the hotel, because you allegedly said this. Who heard it? Nobody
Right.
came forward. He did say this. A lot of people
Well, there was nobody immediately right there. They were just saying the two witnesses.
From my understanding, maybe I got it wrong, but from my understanding, it was four white guys that were standing there with them.
No, they were not. They were not
in
right
the immediate area.
Yeah, they were close, but they were not right there. Because they went outside. Two of the guys went outside to take a picture with them, and then when they came back in, they said that she was walking from behind the counter or whatever, and that they, were talking like a handshake, but no one had said that they heard her say anything or him say anything, but they didn't visually see where anybody was upset or uncomfortable. That's what they said.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, Herb was already known as a player, partier back when his playing days. He more or less admitted that on plenty of podcasts. And but
yeah, he's worked very hard to
correct his habits. That's for sure.
Get himself together and kick the drugs and all of that. Now, I'm not saying that he is guilty. I'm just saying that's why they're called skilled attorneys. Right. Because they're going to paint it a certain way, and you have to. He's on the blunt end, even if he's exonerated. He'd already lost X amount of money, all of this kind of stuff. And like he said, you don't want to be the guy that don't take pictures with your fans, and you don't want to do that. But I've always said I see why they don't.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did you see the clip with the Eagles fan?
No.
With Michael Irvin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He thought he was taking a picture and they did a video.
He was taking a picture, but it was a video. And he said, "Oh, I can't believe you did me like that. I thought you was taking a picture."
Right.
And then she'd have put it out on social media all to her feed.
Just like when Shannon Sharp was picking up a dog. He had bought a dog at the airport. He met the lady at the airport to get the dog, and the guy just standing there with his video going, "Come on, man."
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I remember one time I was in Baltimore, and me and my wife went out to Fogo de Chao, right, eating. And it was around our anniversary or something. We went to Fogo de Chao to hang out, and Ray Rice popped in. And I wanted to go up and say hi, but the man, he just coming in to eat. Right. My wife used to love. That was one of her favorite players when Ray Lewis was coming through, and she was like, "Yeah, don't bother, let it, And it made a ton of sense, man. The man just come to eat, man. Right. They are human beings. I mean, now if you catch them on the field, coming off the field, you want to take a picture and all that, fine if that's what you want to do. But they're out and about in a humble surrounding, with their family, people trying to eat. Ain't no need to walk. Keep walking.
Yeah,
that's what we had to do. That's what we had to do. When I was, working, Ray literally after what he went through, he literally would pay for us to be in the restaurant after it closed. Because I know the people in this circle, and none of us even wanted to be on our phones.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we ain't and all of that kind of stuff, but if you let one wild hair get in there, everything that you're doing, because I could have I'm working, but let's just say my character is shot in, and my honey thinks that I'm there on business, and then he see on social media that I'm hugged up with some dude, in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, and I don't like that at all. Like I hate when people just pull out the phone. And, like Ed Reed, there's a spot that we go and smoke cigars, and you never like people are always shocked when they walk in because they wouldn't think that Ed Reed is there. Well, he's there because that's the only place really he can go in Atlanta where you don't see all of this and can I get an autograph and yeah. Because he just wants to listen to some old school music and enjoy cigars.
And don't Cam Newton got a cigar lounge down there?
Yeah, if you go to Cam Newton's spot, just expect to always be on social media. That's the club version. I've only been twice in my life there because it just has too much going on.
Yeah, I thought he just had like a lounge area.
No,
I ain't know bar and all that neither.
Oh no, it's high octane if you want that feel, and so the women go because of who may be in there. That is.
Right.
But if you want to just chill and relax, you're not going to Cam's spot.
Yeah.
It's a nice, awesome spot if you want more. But if you just want to chill, because you can go to Cuba, you'll never see a big cigar lounge. They're not supposed to really be like that. It's supposed to be chill, good conversation.
Low
But
key.
you go to Cam's. I mean, the music, like you could be side by side screaming.
Oh no, that's too much.
Yeah, it's too much for me personally.
Yeah, like maybe because of how I grew up, I just like I'll be on my phone now, but I'm not doing all the taking pictures and recording and all that because I ain't got time for that. I just like I understand some of these like just want to be low key. Like, listen, I'm here. They just want to live their life, and you see someone put on your camera like why is the default the camera?
Well, my question is like you see a lot of on social media. If you follow any social media, people be getting fighting, and first thing instead of helping a person out or
that too.
Trying to stop it. Here they go. They're picking up their phone. Hey, let me. To me, that's crazy.
I was involved in a hit and run. I was T-bowed, smashed. My driver's side door was jammed, and I'm trying to crawl over to get out the passenger side because I see the fool backing up. I know he's trying to leave, but the people around the scene, and it was a major intersection, and everybody was telling me, "Oh, that's so messed up. I can't believe he did that." And I said, yeah, but if you was looking at somebody's fat apple or onion, you'd have had your phone out. You'd have had the whole thing, recorded. But nobody could get a license plate or anything.
Right.
But that's because that's not juicy enough. It's always if I can, make a mockery out of your life or your situation. And speaking of situations, Ruggs, the latest with him is the judge has had to step down from his case, because he was running for re-election, and so during that time he had made some comments in reference to the case, and he just felt like it was best that he stepped down. But unfortunately for Ruggs, the new person assigned. She kind of don't play the radio, but deservingly so. He's another one. You need to go to prison. You killed somebody. It's by the grace of God. The young lady that was with him and himself, They get out with scratches, but the whole car done blew up and everything and killed somebody.
156 miles an hour.
In a residential.
And what is going on that you didn't see her? Because I think she was at a stop sign or a red light or something. Like, it wasn't.
Because he was drunk. Sure enough.
That sounds like some Grand Theft Auto type stuff. Like, I would not, if I didn't know this actually happened already, I'd just hearing this.
You wouldn't believe it.
I really wouldn't. I'd be like, this is something you made up. This happened in some TV show or a video game or something. You had a dream about it. This could not have possibly happened.
160 in a residential area.
Unbelievable.
160. I'd be looking at people doing 60 in a residential, like, what the heck are you doing?
It's just bad enough.
Right.
It was at, at night, and the lady was out, could have been going to the store, wherever she comes from, it don't matter. Mm-hmm. But a residential area where kids could be playing, could have been playing, but it was late. I get it. But
still. Unbelievable,
man. Because that video, I know y'all seen it, but that's been out for a while. Him flying, he was moving.
The streak on I was just like, it. I cannot believe that everybody involved wasn't killed.
Wasn't
instantly.
You're right.
Instantly.
You're right.
And that's and this goes back to all the way back to the NFL in the sense of just maybe, I've been saying this and I've been saying this and I've been saying this. I know why they don't want to do it, but I think that the NFL owe it to the image, to the fans, and even to the players. They need to start doing straight up psychologicals. Because a lot of these cats are mentally warped and broken down long before the money comes.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Long before the money comes. And you're making this multi-million-dollar investment, and you probably need to start putting them in front of some psychiatrists and stuff.
But they just like they have stuff set in place for like the pro athletes. Like, everybody know what you're doing. I mean, everybody knows. Somebody know what you're doing, what you did. They following you. They know that. The NBA has it. Like, it's nothing you can do, especially when it's on camera. It's your car, you driving. What is it? What can you say?
Well, what I'm saying is that's why what they don't know, they know what you're doing. It's the why. Because we're always sitting here in the aftermath, like, why would he get in the car and do that? Why would Alvin Kamara do that? Why? Ja, why? Because psychologically, something is going on that has nothing to do with the whole football piece. And they need to, before they make these investments, really, because if it's there, I'm telling you, the psychiatrists will find it if it's there. They will find it if it's there.
But I think they go through things like that, though. I think they don't.
Not
extensive psychological.
Right.
No,
not once you get into it. I thought they vetted you. I thought
they vet you, but it's not where it's not as deep as it would need to be to. Like,
they're not really vetting your mind,
right?
Because I thought they did, because maybe I'm wrong, but I thought they did that, like when you remember the guy that we drafted and guy from USC, and he had a mental breakdown. I can't even think of his name now. He's a safety. We picked him a few years ago, just before Darius Geis and all them. Damn, what's that guy from USC? Susie.
But they don't. Great. They don't do
I thought they
extensive.
did something like that when he had an issue because he really wanted to quit doing practice, and they were like, "Man, what are you doing here if you don't want to play?" They had a clip with Will Compton back in them days when Will Compton and all them was there. I can't think of the young guy. He played. I think he played his rookie year, got hurt, and then the next year is when all rails went off and.
But that just tells you they're not going to do as deep as they should, because they would have found, if they were really doing a deep evaluation, they would have found something like, all right, we're not going to spend a draft pick on him. We're not going to bring him in because you know what it is. It's sometimes not so much what you know, it's what you don't know. Right. And the NFL don't want. If the NFL wants to know, they'll find out. And when they don't, they'll wash their hands with it and let it go.
Well,
they didn't really want to.
I mean, even with their ownership,
yeah,
you know, the stuff that our club is going through now, they just push it under the rug. That's obvious.
Well, what the NFL does is the NFL doesn't make it mandatory, but they say to each individual team, hey, it's your investment. If you want to do psychological, go ahead. Now, they have a psychologist
on staff.
Yeah, but
when they need something else.
It's kind of like the chiropractor, and the doctor. The doctor going to give you something for the symptoms. The chiropractor is going to find out the why you're having the symptom. And so the psychologist is just dealing with the symptoms. The psychiatrist is going to give you the diagnosis, the why.
Right.
And so they're not really trying to find out the why. But I think you should, especially when a guy is coming in, troubled. Like you're getting this troubled package. Because when you go through a true psychological, they can find out if you really do understand right from wrong.
Right.
After you get finished with 400, 500, 600 questions asked multiple ways, you're going to give up the answer. Like these guys coming in with seizures and stuff like that. Okay, well, something is already going on in the brain. he's had seizures all through his childhood.
But they just want, all right, like how they say, all right, these players have red flags. Now, all right, you know what they did. Do you want to know why they did it? How deep do you truly want to go? And that's why they'll depend. Certain players they'll let go in the later rounds. They're still going to draft them. They just say, all right, yeah, we're not going to invest this amount of money because we want to get out of it. But this talent is so great, we can't ignore it. So we got to make sure we pick this guy up at some point.
I'll give you the classic example of I don't want to know, I don't care. Ricky Williams was doing interviews as far back as college in his helmet because he had anxiety, undiagnosed. But he told them why he was doing it in his mind. I'm not comfortable. Okay, now we see that he left. He went to some mountains just to smoke weed, and he looked like the Unabomber, and he wasn't showering. All of those things let you know that something else is going on, like with his sensory, because people always say, how can this person not smell themselves? They don't, because they have a sensory disorder. They don't taste, they're not feeling, it's all thrown off. And they knew in college, in college. Who goes to press conferences with their helmet on? You know?
Yeah, it's not a good, it's not a good look.
but hey, but you can run that pigskin, so you know.
So we're gonna do whatever we'll accept that.
Right. So he started smoking the weed. So now he doesn't feel all of that. And so now he starts taking his helmet off. And then nobody's saying, why did he suddenly start doing this? Until the drug test said, okay, well, he got something else going on now.
Right.
Or
You know,
or
so
like
that's-
the guy from the Cowboys about what about 10 or so years ago that I forgot dude's name, but it was a whole big deal. And everyone was wondering how the heck he ended up on the field when he was supposed to be away from the team. I think it was defensive lineman.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was like now you can't tell me no one knew what was going on. Like
Right.
it was in the mainstream. Like, don't tell me no one knew he was where he was and how he got to the stadium. Y'all didn't care.
Right.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
Remember the guy we had on our team? He came to training camp. It was back in the day, a little not too far back, but one day he just never showed up, and they found him in Seattle somewhere.
Yeah, just out of his mind.
I can't even think of this guy's name.
But hold on. Now, you remember back in the day, was it Dexter Man? Or was it Manley?
Dexter he literally couldn't read.
No, I'm talking about the alcoholic. Was it Manley or Man?
Oh, Dexter Mann.
Yeah, but what they did was they but they took care of him. They had his
Absolutely.
beer. They had his beer ready in coolers. They would go get him showered up, get him ready for the game, put him in the limo after the game, put him in the limo, look out for him. You know, that way. I mean, sad, but it's, you know, because they know. They said, but they just don't care. Because let's face it, he was a beast, right?
He was a beast.
You know.
He was making
know,
more
but-
money than he wasn't.
But like I said,
I met him personally though. I went to training camp one year, maybe about 10 years ago. And he was cool. I mean, he was pretty good guy. The way talking to him, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But a lot of things has happened in his life that made him a better person now, though. You know what I mean? He don't drink no more, none of that.
right. But at the end of the day, they just used him up because clearly he had all kinds of problems, right? But they like, hey, we just need for you get on out here and get at this quarterback.
Right.
So, but guys,
He
as
did that
usual,
well.
it's been real. I appreciate you guys taking time out. Sometimes I just have things that, by me being in the mental health professional, it just eats me up sometimes because I'm like, damn, don't nobody ever want to know why. Nothing comes out of us that's not already in. And then we see the aftermath where they're out here killing people and permanently disfiguring people, And then it's like, oh, well, what's going on with them? Well, we could have saved a life if anybody really, cared. I mean, like with Ridley, he had to step away, mental health. And because it's real, because a lot of these guys come from some really hard backgrounds and situations, and trauma and football is their way out, but the psychological damage is already there from their childhood. And if you're going to invest that much money in a guy, do everything that you need to do to protect your asset. And I just think that they could do better in that area.
Without
they could go a deeper dive. Because like I said, we've seen it, play out. Same thing with Ryan Leaf. Ryan Leaf clearly. We seen the breakdown in the middle of an interview after the game, and look at all that he went through to get to where he is now. But psychologically, he was messed up long before he got to the NFL, breaking in people's houses, and I'm just saying, just crazy stuff.
For sure.
So, but then, then we frown upon, a guy like Russell Wilson who, seemingly don't have any of that. He just believe in love and positivity. And it's like, you know what? You a simp, get out of here. That's just the society, but again, thank you guys for, taking time out of your schedule to let me have my mental health moment, because I needed to get this out.
Of course.
Because when I was out, what triggered me was seeing the limo video. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Right.
And so it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Like, you know what? All of them. Give all of them 10 years. I'm talking about max 10 years. And you need to go somewhere and really think about it. I think with Kamara, what is 5 years?
Yeah, 5 years max for him.
Yeah, you need to, to be at 5 years. And they're fortunate.
5 for the incident and 5 for the stupidity.
They're fortunate. See, they're still fortunate that, because the prosecutors could have just as easily bumped that up to an aggravated, because like here in Georgia, they don't have quote unquote self-defense and stuff like that. It's just either aggravated assault. Like, he's lucky that he didn't get that they didn't get an elevated charge. Because I don't know, why isn't it attempted murder if you got 4, 5, 6 people stomping you unconscious? He could have died. He just didn't. I mean, I don't want to say it like it's a minimization, but
right.
He could have died.
Mm-hmm.
But, and then they say, okay, well, intent. What are you intending to do if it's that many people stomping somebody out?
Yeah, you was intentionally try to cause bodily harm.
Right. So they're lucky that the envelope wasn't pushed for, and then that's another thing. Are we sending a message that if you do this and the person don't die, then it's 5 years or less? Like I told you all this, Deshaun Watson, the same thing here in Georgia. Deshaun Watson would be doing some time. It's how the law is written. The laws in Texas say they tried to indict him twice, but based on the law, he didn't break any laws here, guys. So don't be mad at us. Get out and vote, change some of your laws. And yes, they need to start educating these guys on the laws in these different states that they go to. That might save a few of them. Sometimes if you know better, you'll do better, I guess.
It's not just them who needs to learn about the laws. There's a lot of people that just everyday person really needs to get out there, understand.
Absolutely. But if you want to protect your own life and the wealth that you've created for yourself, you need to know. And like Jai, if he's dodged the bullet, because I think they've closed the investigation.
Yeah.
So here we go again. They closed the investigation and nobody still knows where the gun has come from. But they don't want to know. Right.
See, that's it. If you want to know, you'll find out.
Mm-hmm.
You got all of these resources being the NBA and whatnot.
Right. They don't want to know. Because I think we all know. Right.
I don't know how he was. Apparently, he was in Denver for 3 days. So there's several ways it could have got there. But what we know is that it was there. And what we know is that nothing else come from it aside from the 4-game suspension. And
I'm gonna tell you something else. He looked like he was on something beyond alcohol. Also, he didn't come across as just being tipsy to me. Because he was just like, and I'm saying, it didn't look like he was drunk. It looked like he was out there on something. I don't know. But like I said, thanks guys for tuning in. Would you please let everybody know once again where they can get at you guys? I'm Sports-A-Delic. You go to Sports-A-Delic on YouTube. That's Sports-A-Delic. Sports-A-Delic, where we talk about sports and everything else, as you can see. Scrub, how can they get at you?
You can get me on YouTube at Scrub0, SKRUBZERO. I also have Twitter at Zero Scrub, because Twitter is such a wonderful thing. I don't know why it works like that, but you could get me on Twitter. I'm not so much on Twitter as much as I am YouTube, but you leave me a message, I'll get to it eventually. I won't leave you. I won't leave you on red forever. Don't worry.
Thank you for that, Michael Jordan. I'll get to you eventually.
I'm just being honest. That's me.
And I'm Greg. I'm at I Create Sports on Twitter and YouTube. Sports Talk, I should say. And Facebook, I have a page on Facebook. I Create Sports Talk with Greg. So I appreciate you, Sports-A-Delic. Love the platform. Fight me anytime. I'm always willing to talk sports anytime.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Make sure y'all subscribe here to Sports-A-Delic. Hit the
Appreciate
notification bell to all so you don't miss any of the posts when she uploads, man. Come on.
Yeah.
And when she go live, you gotta support our girl.
Absolutely. Hey,
Black
Scrub,
lives matter. Black lives matter.
Hey, Scrub, what's your? Because I went to YouTube and I couldn't find you on YouTube.
I'll hit you up, but Scrub0. But I got you in on the phone.
Oh, man.
All right. You guys enjoy the rest of your afternoon, rest of your week.
All right, you too.
I'll do my best.
Of course. That's all.